Hello everyone. So I am here going to show you how to get Python on your machine and how to create a virtual environment. As I mentioned before, the concept of the virtual environment is like what we're talking about in terms of you can imagine a house with multiple rooms. In this case here, the rooms would be dedicated to the different types of work that you do. Maybe you could have like your main work, and then you could have like a side hustle job. So what would happen is that everything related to the side hustle would be in one room, and everything related to your main job would be in another room. So that's the concept of having a virtual environment. In this case, another thing to think about is that virtual environments are something that you'll create once in a while, so you won't create it often. So videos like this are very helpful because it'll just kind of help you remember what happened that time ago when you were trying to set up your environment for the first time. So again, you do this for different types of tasks that you'd be doing, different types of applications you'd be doing. But again, it will not be something that you do on a fairly regular basis. So let's go ahead and get started. You can ask me questions about this in the comments or when we meet again. So first thing we want to do is we're going to go to Python, the main Python website. So just type in, we'll just go to google.com, which is like what we have over here, and just type in Python like that. Then we'll get the first link, which is python.org. Oh, another thing you can do is just to make sure that you don't have Python installed already, just go over here and just type in Python, and it says no results, right? So I don't have Python installed, so just go to python.org over here, and then we're just going to go directly, let me maximize this here, and then we're just going to go to downloads, and we're just going to download the latest one, just download for Windows here. So we're going to click on that, and we will see. Okay, and now that it's been downloaded, it'll be down here. So what we'll go ahead and do is we'll just start up the program, which is the download over here, so that we'll go through the process. So say add python.exe to path. So you want to do that here because we're going to be using Python here. We're not going to be using Anaconda in this case here like we did in the past. And yes, we're going to use add admin privileges for installing .py.exe. That's fine. So just go to install now. Let's see what customization installation does. So pip, cl, all that kind of stuff. No, that's fine. We'll just go to install now. Then wait for it to go ahead and do just that. Again, it should be relatively quick. And what we want to do is we want to wait till it's done, and then essentially what will happen is this button will disappear, then it'll just say that it's successful. Okay, we are ready, and now what I can go ahead and do is just close this, and then what I want to do is just, it's always a good idea whenever you do an install, especially if something like Python, just go ahead and restart your machine. So just come here, just go to shutdown, and then just select restart. It's just a good idea. So let's go ahead and do that, and we'll be back in a few minutes. Okay, so we have gone ahead and rebooted our machine here after installing Python, and we're just waiting for it to finish going through the startup process. And remember, we've already installed VS Code, so it's sitting here waiting for us. Now let's go ahead and check to see what version of Python we do have here. So one of the easiest and fastest ways to do it is to just go here and just type in like that, just type in Python, and then you will see over here that says Python 3.11, which is good. There's one other way to also test to see if you've installed Python properly on your machine, and this is perhaps the definitive method or the preferred method. Just open up your command prompt here. So the way you do it is you just open up again, you hit your Windows key to bring up the menu over here, and then you just type in CMD, right? And then hit enter. So you come up with the command prompt screen here. and this way you can type in Python and then do a space and then dash dash and version, the word version. So again, you type in Python, put a space there with just one click of one tap of your spacebar, and then type in dash dash version and then hit enter. Then it'll also spit it out here for you, saying that you have Python 3.11 installed. Fantastic. Alrighty. Now I'll move on to the part whereby we get to set up our virtual environment. So the first thing we want to do is we want to go to the folder where we want to put our virtual environment. You can put it in the desktop, but I usually prefer my documents folder. It's a lot more organized that way. So what we'll do is we will cd into that folder. Cd means just change directory. So basically we're kind of moving into that directory so that we can, whatever we type here, whatever we create in the CMD in the command prompt is going to be existing in that particular folder or directory. Actually, I'm going to make that just documents. That's what cd. There we go. And let me verify something real quick. Okay. And so we're off. We'll continue. So now that we're here, we can go ahead and we will create the environment. And the way that you do this is you'll go ahead and you'll type in Python, put a space with a space bar, type -m, like for mother, put a space bar, and then VE and V, which is virtual environment, right? And then space, and then now the name of our virtual environment. So we want to name it something that is that follows a certain convention, meaning that we want it to make sense when anybody sees it in the system. They know that's a virtual environment, and it's also better to name it according to the work that you're doing. In this case here, we'll just call it IT classwork. So we'll just say I, then capital T, then class work, and then underscore E and V, right? So IT classwork underscore E and V. And one thing that you notice is that I'm using a little bit of some type of camel case here, whereby you put in like some capitalization of some words here to kind of show that it's like two different multiple words that are combined together to make this name here. Because usually when you're creating file names and directory names and so on and so forth, you really don't want to leave spaces in between them, but you always want to make sure that it still does make sense to whoever sees it at a glance. So it's called IT classwork underscore dot env. Again, but it's not a must you have to put a capital letter. It could also be just a small like T, but I think it looks better this way. And we should be able to just go ahead and hit enter. Give me 1 second. For some reason, when I pressed the enter key, it took forever for it to go ahead and create that the environment, but it went ahead and did it, as you can see here. So that is we're done. It is successful now. One way you can verify if it is existing is so one way of just verifying if it is created successfully here is just you can just do dir, right, which is a command for tell me the contents of your directory or the folder, and then that's it within the my documents, and you'll see itclasswork.env underscore env. So you should be able to see this actually in your documents folder, and you can see there, you see it's an actual folder. Alrighty, so the second step here is to start up our VS Code here and see if we can get started doing some Python work on it. So what will happen is it'll ask you to install a couple of things when you go ahead and start your Python development. So if you can remember, what we did last time is we went with open folder over here. So you're going to open a folder, and this, it's not just opening folders, you can also create a folder. So we'll go to our favorite directory or folder, which is My Documents, which is a very good place to organize all your work, at least in my opinion, rather. So you can come here and create your own work folder. So you call it per folder, then you can call it IT project work, and then just leave it like that. You don't have to add any extension or any underscore. Then you'll click on that and say select folder, and that'll be your new folder for you to start working on. And then it'll ask you this, oh yes, and you can say trust the authors of files and parent documents, and just say yes, you trust them. Very good. So now the second thing we're going to do here is we're going to go ahead and create a file. We're going to create our first Python file, and what that'll do is it'll activate this your VS Code and make it think, oh wow, you know, you want to start doing some Python work. So let's go ahead and let's go ahead and activate the system, get the system ready for you to start programming Python. So go ahead and hit new file. So you can either click new file here, or you can just do the old-fashioned way, just come over here and right-click anywhere here and say new file. Again, this is within your project folder. It's open. Then say new file, and then call it the basic hello world file. So call it hello world, and then don't forget to end it with .py. Hello world.py, and then hit enter. Then it'll show you something really small down here, as you can see. It says, do you want to install the recommended extensions of Python? And say yes, say install. And then it'll come over here, and then it'll take you to the extension area here. And then it'll start installing this Python extension, right? So this is very helpful for this software, which is a VS Code, which is actually a note editor. I wanted to call it an IDE, but it's actually a note editor, a very useful one. But you can do some programming on it. So it's going to install these programs for you, and once we've done that, we can now go ahead and it's opened up another window for us. So just go ahead and close this window here if there's any extra windows or extra tabs. So over here it's giving you your welcome page for Python development. While that is useful, is helpful, you don't need to concentrate so much in it, so you can close it here for now. So you can even notice here it even guides you to it asks if you want to create a Python environment. So we could have actually done that too, you know. So it does help you with some ways to make your life easier. All right, and there's also a lot of resources here. So you can either close this tab here, or you can click here, mark done. So, and you can always bring up that web page, that welcome page anytime, and I'll show you. Yeah, anyway, I'll show you how to bring that up later. But for now, we are good to go. You can now go ahead and close this get started page, and then you can close this extensions tab, and then you can go back to your Explorer, which is this icon over here. So it'll give us the folder page or the directory page here. And then now we can, we are ready to go ahead and test to see if our configuration works. So we'll go ahead and hit print, right? And then we'll put some opening and closing brackets right there, or parentheses. And we'll say hello world. There we go. And then remember, as I mentioned before, whenever you see that white ball over there, it means that this is has not been saved. So you can just click anywhere within this space here and just press Control S. So Control S is for saving, and it works in several different softwares. It works in Word, works in Excel. So once that's done, you can go ahead and see if you can run this. And the best way to run this is by using Shift and Enter. So if you hold down Shift and then tap the Enter key like this, it'll take a moment. It'll load up a few things here before going ahead and running your code. Okay, so let's go ahead and try that again. So I'll click here, and then I'll just go with Shift Enter. Aha, there we go. Yeah, for some reason, I guess it didn't automatically run the code. But as you can see, what print does is it means print to the terminal, which is what we have here in this tab here. The resultant or the the strings that are contained within this print function, right? So whatever is within these parentheses, it will print it to the screen. So in this case here, it went ahead and it printed it right here. So as you can see, so it ran through this call called print hello world, and this is the result. So it's working perfectly. But there's one last thing we have to do. One last thing. So that last part, we'll reserve it for later. As long as we can go ahead and have this printed here with from hello world, and we've been successful in creating our virtual environment, then you are good to go. You don't have to touch anything. You don't have to do anything. You'll notice that it says here Python 3.11, which is what we installed. And if you're at that point, trust me, you are successful. You're good to go. We can pick it up from where you are next time we meet. I'll try and see if I can record another video like this. And I'm sorry if it sounds very rushed or I'm still trying to get back into creating good educational videos. So and right now we're just wrapping up for the end of the year. So go ahead and reach out to me in chat, and we'll take it from there. Thank you.